Okay, thank you everyone, and thank you for, hopefully everyone can hear me okay, but thank you for taking the time to learn a little bit more about business intelligence and how it can help your business. So today we're really going to be talking about transforming your data using analytics and financial planning. But as a business, a lot of businesses have a lot of data in their business, and while it's there, it's not always well utilised. So instead of just being a very technical, heavy product with lots of bells and whistles that really appeal to the very technical people, we believe as a business that data can be used by anybody in the business and should be used by anybody in the business, and they should feel good about actually doing it. So whether you're the CEO making a decision about strategically where the business is going, whether you're in the marketing team deciding on what campaigns are working for you, or if you're a salesperson deciding which customers you should prioritise talking to, you should feel good, you should feel informed about those decisions. And how we do that is in our platform, we've got a number of products that we actually offer. So we've got an analytics platform that allows you to take the data you've got in your business, whether it's in an ERP system, a CRM system, and take that data and use it to make informed decisions for the financial people, or the finance team, I should say rather. We've got a financial statement, so helping build those management accounts, being able to perform consolidation to give more insight across the business. And we've got a budgeting and forecasting tool that brings all this together and actually allows you to plan, not just to plan to look at what has happened, but to plan into the future what will happen and make adjustments to those plans as things change. We also have a rebates product that for those of you receiving or paying rebates, we have a product to help with that. We won't be covering that one today, but across these particular solutions, we're able to provide a lot of businesses with the insights they need to make more informed decisions. So how we're actually doing that is we take your data. So most businesses will have an accounting system, an ERP system that they're capturing their data in. So we're able to take that data, we automate the flow of this data into the Phocas platform, allowing you to understand, like mentioned, those analytics, those financials, your budgets, your rebates. And we're able to, instead of it just being for the IT team or just being for the C-suite, we really make this available to anybody in the organisation. So they're able to take this information and collaborate on this information to make informed decisions together. Phocas as a business, just a little bit about us. So we're a global business. It actually was started by an Australian. We are an Australian business. So around the world, we look after just over 2,800 customers. We have just over 40,000 users. Here in Australia, we have about 750 customers, and you'll see there we've got a retention rate of 97%. So what we actually offer to our customers, they generally love. I've worked with Phocas for a bit over 15 years now, and even the first customer I set up still uses the platform today. So it's able to produce repeatable results that allow businesses to stay on top of what's going on in their business. We're also a B Corp certified business with a number of locations around the world, and also you'll see there we've got over 200 integrations. And that's quite an important point, because if we actually were to survey everyone in the room, you're probably all using different systems. And how do you actually get that data easily into those to make informed decisions? We're able to integrate and pull that data in, so it's not an IT heavy task. You as an end user can simply just use the information in your ERP, or your CRM or your accounting system, just to make those informed decisions. And as a business, we're in a bit of a unique position. There are a lot of FP&A products out there. There are a lot of BI tools out there. You know, I'm sure everyone's heard of products like Power BI. Phocas is a little bit different. We sort of sit in a unique position where we actually have business intelligence. That's actually where we started as a business, really humanising the consumption of data. And more recently, in the last 5-ish years, we've actually developed our FP&A platform. But the actual combination of these two actually mean that we don't have the operational side of the business using one tool set and the finance team using something completely different, and they don't marry up, and that the reporting's different, and finance think everything's going terrible and the sales team think everything's amazing. We're able to actually bring them together to have a much more cohesive view of what's going on in the business. Ooh, I think we might be missing a slide there. Yeah, it was meant to be a video play now. And the people are not up the back.
The video there, or is that going to play at the end, Anthony?
Oh, I can see them moving around. Okay, it's a little bit further in the slide deck than... so that's right, we'll ad-lib it. So just like you saw, we have 2,800 customers across the world, and these are some of the Australian names that you might actually be aware of. So we work with a number of different businesses in different shapes and sizes. These are probably some of our more well-known brands that you might be aware of. Now, just before we do get to actually showing you what the software looks like, which is something we're going to be doing, just a little bit of some of the challenges we've solved for other organisations. So Jordan, for example, an Australian business, and they had the challenge of they needed to cut down on the amount of manual reporting. Excel reporting, which is probably the most common one we see, wasn't enabling them to make fast, informed decisions. It was very manual, a lot of manual work. And since introducing Phocas, having the ability to visualise that data and cut down on how quickly they can actually make informed decisions and feel good about what they're actually making. So we've been working with Jordan for quite a number of years, and they continue to invest in the platform to make sure that the entire business is making more informed decisions. Obex is another business that we've actually we've helped, and this very similar challenges, but just being able to get into, well, what drives the business? What drives the margin? Who's actually, which buying patterns should we be utilising? Which ones are not actually not worth pursuing? So we're seeing a downward trend. This particular market is drying up for us. Being able to see this information, make informed decisions, has allowed them to future-proof their business. All right, so hopefully everyone can see this, and this is just a short demonstration of how the actual platform works. So it is a cloud-based application, has very strong visualizations. We also promote this as a no-code product, so you don't need to be a DAX programmer, you don't need to know SQL inside out and back to front. If you know how a mouse works, you can drive this product. So what we're doing here is we're actually filtering a dashboard down to a particular salesperson. So we could be looking at our overall business and then want to just understand how this particular salesperson is performing. It's just a single click to do so. So we can see how they're going against last year, how they're going against budget, how many declining customers they have. So we can have smarts in here to help identify that this particular customer, or sorry, this particular salesperson has a number of underperforming customers. But having a dashboard is one thing. Being able to drill through it and ask that next question, this is what a lot of our users love, is the ability to not just be given a dashboard or given a report, but be able to follow a train of thought. And sometimes that might mean we need to look at different time periods. So whether we're looking at daily data, weekly data, monthly, follow your train of thought is something we are all about. It's also at this level, this is completely read-only. So even for the non-technical users, they can't break it. So even if they're a bit of a novice user, they can make use of the Phocas platform. And what it's really about is giving you insights, and we can predetermine some of those insights, but we're also about encouraging users to follow a train of thought. So by drilling down into, for example, our customers, how are our customers actually performing? What does their sales trend look like over a given period? Or maybe I'm not just interested in customers, maybe I'd like to ask a product question. I'd like to understand where my revenue comes from. And maybe it's not just about what periods they're in. So users have the options to do things like compare periods. So have we seen a variance? In this case, we have. We've got a couple of underperforming groups. Now, you might be aware of what that is, or maybe you need to know more. So being able to drill in and interrogate what drives this underperformance. So the ability to, follow a train of thought. So understanding that I've got a problem of about 20% here in my business, well, that's something I would like to know more about. Am I being hurt in a particular market? So is it a particular vertical? Is it a person? Or is it a territory? Have you got a competitor that has come in and started to take away some of your customers? So which territories should you be concentrating on? And even which customers within those territories should you be looking at? Now, we're doing this as maybe a sales manager. This being mobile friendly can be used out on the road. So if we need to provide a scorecard so we can go and talk to a customer, it works on a phone. So you're not just using this at the senior level in the business, but you're able to actually drill in and provide this data to other users. Now, hopefully in that example, you could see the ease of clicking around, but not everyone's a click kind of person. So we do have AI in Phocas as well. And our real ethos as a business, like we had at the beginning, is to make people feel good. And sometimes being able to not just click the buttons, be able to ask a question. We really are trying to utilise AI to make sure that users can get the answers to their questions, even if they don't know what button they should click or how to navigate it. So here we're actually asking a series of questions of our data, and you'll actually see down the bottom there, it's actually telling you how it did it. You know, AI is changing all of our lives very, very quickly, but there's also the chance that AI is not going to be always right. So we're actually, instead of it just being a black box, we're actually telling you how it's actually done it. Maybe the way you asked the question, it wasn't able to return the result you want. So you can actually see, and it is learning from you, so it's able to refine those selections as it goes. Now, the AI side, while we're sort of talking on AI, is we have invested in AI. You can see how we're using it in the front end here. We are also using it heavily in the back end to optimize how quickly information is pulled out. We're also using it in a similar example we're showing here to help provide insights. So it's able to learn, looking at data, what are some of those buying patterns, what are the insights that you could potentially be missing, and helping surface those for you. What we're doing here is actually showing even how easy it is if you've just got an idea of, I would like to know how often maybe a particular product is being sold without its complementary product. So if I sold you a table, did you buy the chairs? Being able to identify what opportunities you potentially missed. Now, as we move through our platform, what you can see here is we're actually able to also not just look at our operational data, but also things like financial information. So helping the Office of Finance identify revenue trends that you're seeing in the business and how it compares to previous data or to budgets or to forecasts. These, once again, they're customizable to your particular business needs. You don't need to be a coder to pull any of this off. So whether you're looking for cash flow, whether you're looking at your balance sheet or particular key ratios in your business, we're able to provide that insight to the Office of Finance. It doesn't have to be in Excel. It's not something that you have to, it has to just stay in the finance team. We're seeing a lot of our customers that have implemented this is they're on average at least halving their month end. So being able to provide the insight so they can see very quickly what the key OPEX drivers are, what the key revenue drivers are. Did we budget for that to happen? All very quickly and easily. And even for those of you that have multiple divisions, multiple entities, being able to consolidate, this is something we often hear is a challenge in businesses, being able to consolidate that data, provide the data down to the correct users, but also, instead of it just being a very high-level view of the business, being able to drill into the detail. So if you're tasked with staying on budget, what's causing you to go over budget? If you need to export data, you can at the click of a button. Now, for those of you that are, once again, have those multiple divisions or entities in your business, we've got some functionality in here to allow you to compare statements. It's also not just a P&L tool, so one of those most important statements there, your cash flow, is something that can be seen very easily. You don't have to push this out into Excel to see it. You can choose how these are actually formatted to your particular business, but being able to report to the business or provide the business with the insights on what our cash position is, what is it trending like, so we can make more informed decisions about maybe future CapEx spends. And if you're not a numbers person, because not all of us are, everything is quickly visualised, turned into dashboards. Change your mind, follow your train of thought, just like what we're doing on the analytics side. So very fast, very easy, and hopefully that ease of use is what you can start to see coming out as we move along. And like I mentioned earlier, for those that have multi-divisions, multi-departments in your business, one of the challenges we often hear is we end up running 5, 6, 7 P&Ls for our business, and then we copy and paste them to bring them all together. This allows us to actually do them live in a single statement. So if we want to compare, we're able to. It might be a little bit small for the people at the back, but what we've even got the ability to do is look at things like, well, how much cash are my different businesses burning? So are we having an overspend compared to their revenue in particular areas? Things that businesses are often analysing, but that can take a long time to actually produce, just a few clicks in Phocas. And this is why we see people actually stick with the platform, because it delivers an actionable result every time somebody uses it. What we've got here is also a slightly different way of viewing a business is through ratio. So being able to not just look at the hard numbers, but look at key ratios that might drive the business efficiency, liquidity, but a lot of our businesses or customers sell products or have people out on the road. So being able to bring in non-financial data into their analytics so they can show profit per customer, profit per employee, so they can use that to present to the board to make more informed decisions about what's actually happening in the business and what actions they need to take. Now, lastly, we have our budgets and forecast solution. So this sits over the top of all of our solutions. This allows us to use that operational data, use that financial data to plan. Most planning is done in Excel. It's a challenge because it's in Excel. So it's got the risk of errors, it's got the risk of people working on the wrong version or messing up formulas, or there's no way I can let this person see this particular spreadsheet. So we've got the best parts of Excel, so we can use all the formulas, we've got all your shortcut keys, everything still work, but we still appeal to the non-Excel user. So we can actually change numbers by using spreads. We can compare to previous periods or prior budgets with a click, giving people the opportunity to make those informed decisions. And it doesn't have to just be a single person that's using it. So instead of making a copy, I can actually nominate to allocate tasks either collectively or individually to someone to work on. It allows us to collaborate. It means I don't have to make a copy. We're not doubling up and making changes. We do audit every single cell. So even when we have multiple collaborators, we can actually restore individual cells. We don't have to try and remember what change was made in which version anymore. And just like in Excel, we also have the ability to leave comments and actually even snapshot the value of the comments. This becomes particularly useful when we're looking at a forecast. So we can see what we were thinking at the time, why we might have done that. We often also find that people are needing more tools to better plan, so not just using last year's actuals or a previous budget to plan, but you've got all this data in your business. Do you actually use it effectively for planning? So you can see on the screen, we're actually got a sales budget that's actually being driven in our financials from a bunch of salespeople telling us what products they plan to sell and what price they plan to sell it at and how many units they anticipate selling. So we're able to once again collaborate together, ask the right people for the right numbers. So our budgets are not pure assumption based, but are actually based on not just what finance think will happen, but those that are actually contributing to the business, that are out there on the making those sales. How do they actually tell you what they're going to actually achieve? And do they buy into the budget? Having that ability to collaborate, being involved, we've seen a much bigger uptake in people believing the numbers and buying into them and working towards them. Just so we don't run out of time, it does support doing a three-way model. So for those of you interested in cash flow, budgeting and forecasting, the tool is able to help with this as well, allowing us to connect to our P&Ls to look at those movements so you can see the movements on your balance sheet, really cutting out all that manual work that you go through to bring all this together. And all of this ultimately flows into your cash flow. So being able to not just see your payables and your receivables, but ultimately what effect does it have on your cash flow?
No, that's excellent, Craig. Thank you. These business intelligence tools are coming up lately. I see them Power BI, I see Looker, but
Yep.
having a look at the Phocas one there, that seems like you're almost ahead of the pack there. Are you able to share a success story that someone that wasn't using Phocas and now is, and the metrics they've got from the benefiting of using the Phocas platform?
I mean, there is a lot of different scenarios where customers have gained significant insights. I recall I was helping an industrial distributor actually out in New Zealand, and they had a lot of data and they had a lot of sales going on in the business, but just by when we were actually doing the training session, so they actually saw a return very quickly actually, but during the training session they wanted to compare, I'm not sure people know welders, but the core product, the welder itself, and the consumable wire that went with it. It wasn't sold with it, but it doesn't work without it. It's an extra buy that they need to make. And then found an alarming number of customers not buying the wire, but buying the welders and going to a competitor to buy the wire. And it was just a problem they didn't know existed. And being able to break that down into, well, who are which territories, which customers, and produce a target list for the sales rep to go through, they were able to have a significant turnaround in their wire sales and make sure that the sales reps actually were pushing it. So that was something that was over 10 years ago, and they still use it today.
Wow, yeah, those insights are very valuable. Wow. Another thing, where do you see in the next 5 years of these intelligent tools?
Look, I mean, it's
it's pretty crazy out now, but
it is. It really is, and it is moving quickly. And we are seeing, we are investing heavily in the technology is moving so fast that we've actually invested a significant amount of headcount into trying to stay with that pack and even be a lead in that space of not just pushing, reports out to people, still empowering people to ask and answer questions, but maybe also providing them with insights and identify things that can be a little bit harder to find in the data. So I think we're going to see the market move more and more into automation around reporting, using a combination of people's insights and AI.
Absolutely. Anyone in the crowd that wants to ask any questions around business intelligence tools?
Just a very quick one, sorry.
One sec, we'll get the mic to you.
Sorry, they're just bringing a mic so I can hear you a bit better.
Sorry, I was going to ask you the break, so I don't get
Yeah, go for it, mate.
I was just thinking, with putting budgets into your software,
Yep.
is that done via an upload from a CSV file, or is it a manual process?
No, it can be, absolutely. So we can be proper multi-source. So if your budget's in your ERP, we can pull it from there. If it's in an existing spreadsheet or CSV file, we can pull it from there. We don't particularly mind where it comes from, but happy to discuss further.
Excellent. Michael?
You touched on it in your last statement before the question, but automated reporting, you showed a lot of good graphics and visualizations in the demo there. Does Phocas have that functionality to generate automated reports at the moment?
It does have the ability to generate, it does ship with a number of reports that can be subscribed to or alerted. You can be notified based on conditions. So you might have, while everything's fine, you're not being notified about it. But if those situations change based on your, what you would consider a threshold of acceptable risk. So if I've got 2 declining customers, don't really care. If I've got 50, I care. You can actually be notified of those changes, and they can be, you might be, with that same example, you might actually be in one location and there's 50 declining across the business, but only 2 for you. So do you actually need to be notified? These are options that you've got. And we, as mentioned, we are investing further to dig a bit deeper into deeper trends that you might need to be aware of, so that we do continually update and develop the platform.
Excellent, excellent. Brendan, do you have something to share?
I have a question. I know something to share afterwards, but one of the key powers of AI to me is to be able to see the patterns that a human doesn't catch. And the main constraint in that is, as a human, knowing what question to ask to find the pattern.
Yeah.
Can you give some thoughts as to how you get the user to understand how to engage in ways to find those insights?
Yeah, it is a good question, and like from my experience, even as mentioned, we working with a lot of data-heavy businesses that sell products or not-for-profits, and what you generally find is while there are those patterns that sometimes are hard to see, they do fall into the questions that you're typically asking if you're looking for growth, looking for efficiency, are relatively consistent. So instead of just surfacing things that, well, that's interesting, but I can't do anything about it, or that's not useful at all, we try to prioritise, well, from our experience with working with organisations, what are the common questions that actually drive a business, and making sure that any models and the AI that we're actually producing is not just producing things that are random or hallucinations, but actually, useful insight. So it's a combination of using the machine learning and the AI, but also using, our knowledge of what actually makes a business tick.
Excellent.
All right.
Beautiful. Well, give a hand to Craig and from Phocas. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you.